I'm Gina, Mizell, Oregon State beat writer for the Oregonian. Back here with Connor Letourneau. We are back from the bye week. Oregon State now faces San Diego State on Saturday at Reser Stadium, 7:30 kickoff time. And we've had a week to kind of decompress, and this team can kind of look at themselves, and now they're looking ahead to San Diego State. You obviously covered the wild game in San Diego last year, Steven Nelson and Ryan Murphy with those two late picks to seal the win for the Beavers. What can we expect out of this team coming into Reser Stadium on Saturday?
You know, this is a team that I think improved a lot over the course of last season. They won 8 of their final 10 games after playing Oregon State. They won their bowl game against a good Buffalo team. So they've seemed to build off that heading into this year. They almost upended number 21 UNC last week in Chapel Hill, which would have been a big win for them. They were up 14 in the third quarter and ended up giving it away. But you know, this is a talented team. They have good quarterback play. They have a really good run game. Got to talk to the beat writer over there today, and he said that he expects them to just run the heck out of the ball. So it's going to be a real test for Oregon State's front seven.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those guys that you talked to in the linebacking core, Romel Mangau, and he was a guy that was kind of big in that San Diego State game last year, coming in, replacing Joel Scotty at middle linebacker, and obviously played a lot in place of DJ Alexander and Jabrell Johnson were both out for stretches of the Hawaii game. So maybe what have you learned from him about his growth from this time last year maybe to this time this year?
It's been immense. I mean, this is a guy who last year struggled to speak English fluently. He had to approach Coach Bray after every team meeting or every position meeting and ask for pointers and ask exactly what he had said because he didn't really understand. Yeah. Not only was he struggling with the language, but he was struggling with the basic terminology because he played high school ball in American Samoa where they ran one defensive scheme and one defensive play. So he had to learn football basically. And Coach Bray was just lauding his improvement. He graded out in the Hawaii game at a 93,
That's good.
Which is very good. And Coach Bray said that he thinks he's at the same level as the Doctors and the Jabrell Johnsons, which is a huge compliment. He called him his 4th starter. So Romel is someone that's definitely interesting to follow this year because he'll play a decent amount, but he's going to be a huge factor of this defense next year. Yeah,
absolutely. And when you look on the other side of the ball, obviously kind of a tale of two halves with Oregon State, and you look at the run game and that offensive line. Garrett Weinrich is still out with that knee injury. Sean Harlow is still out with that back injury. Dustin Stanton's been lining up with the first team at right tackle. So for a run game that started to get going and an offense that was very, very good for 3.5 quarters again, or 2.5 quarters against Hawaii, what could those injuries perhaps mean for this team going forward?
You know, to be determined, I guess. I know that San Diego State has an aggressive front seven. They've got some big veteran guys up front, so it's going to be a real test for this O-line. Isaac obviously probably will not be in the lineup, and I would be very interested and curious to see if Dustin Stanton starts in that game, what he's able to do, because we haven't gotten to see much of him this year.
Yeah.
And he's obviously a huge storyline transferring over from tight end in the spring. You talked to him today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he said he's ready to go, that he's assuming that he's going to go. Obviously hopes that Sean Harlow gets back healthy, but it's been an interesting story with him, just switching from tight end to tackle, and then he thought he was going to play left tackle, and then now he's flipped over to right tackle, and he sprained his ankle toward the end of fall camp, and that sort of slowed his development. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of reps with the ones and just getting that extra work in case he does have to start. So again, we will have more from Corvallis all week. For Connor Letourneau, I'm Gina Mizell. Keep reading the Oregonian and check us out every day on OregonLive.com.